The secret text that changed us. One night, my boyfriend picked up my phone and saw a message that wasn't meant for him. I heard the buzz on the counter and the click of curiosity becoming certainty as Alex's thumb woke the screen. The kettle hissed behind me like it was trying to warn us. Steam climbed, ghostly and slow, while the apartment felt too small for air. Alex didn't speak right away. He just read, and read again, like the words might rearrange into mercy if he stared long enough. "Who's E?" he finally asked. His voice was steady, the way ice is steady. He held the phone out, the blue bubble glowing. "We tell him tonight. No more hiding." Another preview line, earlier. "I'm outside. Please." My mouth tasted like metal. "I can explain," I said, which is what people say when they can't. The kettle shrieked, and I yanked it off the burner. In the sudden quiet, the city's siren wash seeped through the window. "Explain what?" he asked. "That you've been making plans behind my back? That someone is outside?" His eyes flicked to the door, then back to me, then to the phone like it might confess if he squeezed it. I set 2 mugs down, although I didn't remember taking them out. My hands shook, tiny clinks betraying me. "Can we not do this in here?" I said. "The walls hear everything." He laughed once without humor. "The walls? You mean me? You mean I'm the audience to a show I didn't buy tickets for?" The hallway light outside our door flickered with a cheap strobe, a tired heartbeat of a building that rarely slept. "I need air," I said. He pocketed my phone like evidence and nodded toward the door. "Perfect," he said. "Let's go meet your mystery." The night had a damp breath. Down the block, a delivery truck sighed, and a cat sprinted beneath it, its tail a comma in the sentence of the city. Alex didn't take my hand. His silence scraped. At the curb, I stopped. I could feel my lie swelling behind my tongue, heavy as a swallowed coin. "It's not what you think," I said, "because that's the other thing people say, and it never helps." "Then what is it?" he asked. I closed my eyes. "E is Ethan," I said. "My brother." He blinked. I watched it land and skid. "You don't have a brother," he said. "You've told me about your mother, your father, the neighbors with the loud blender, but never a brother." "I know," I said. "That's the hiding." I heard Ethan last week in my head. If he's worth staying with, he's worth telling. I had agreed. Tonight. The text was the pin pulled from the grenade. We started walking again because motion felt safer than stillness. "Why hide him?" Alex asked. Jealousy had given way to suspicion's older cousin, doubt. "He's not dangerous, is he?" "No," I said. "Just complicated." My breath smoked and blew away. When we were kids, my mother told the town I was an only child. The city café at our corner still had its lights on, the kind of amber that made everyone look more forgiving. I kept my eyes on the reflection in the window. "My parents split," I said. "Not because of Ethan. Not exactly. Because of everything around him." Alex reached for the door and held it open, a reflexive kindness that almost undid me. Inside, the espresso machine exhaled. The music was a soft synth throb, and a barista with a moon tattoo on his wrist rinsed glasses. We took the table by the plants. It felt like a confessional with ferns. "So," he said, "let's hear it. All of it." I nodded and pressed my palms to the wood. It was sticky from some spilled sweetness. When my mother was 19, she had a baby, I said. She was living 2 towns over, didn't have money, and her parents were angry and strict in that biblical way that says love but means exile. She let the baby go to a family friend because she couldn't do it alone. I swallowed. His name is Ethan. I thought you were the firstborn, Alex said. I was the first to stay, I said. A decade later, she met my father. They had me, got married, moved here, tried to be brand new people with their past folded tight as a note in a pocket. I rubbed my thumb over a ring mark on the table. And Ethan? He asked. He came back, I said. When I was 14, he found her. He was quiet like a shadow and angrier than any kid should be. His adoptive mum had died. He wanted answers, and maybe money, and maybe love, but he didn't know how to ask for any of it. The barista set down 2 waters with the kind of empathy eyes you earn by listening professionally. The ice clinked. The micro-symphony steadied me. My mother panicked, I said. She told the neighbors he was a cousin. She told me never to say brother. Alex's jaw softened. So you kept the secret for her, he said. And for him, I said. Because he didn't want to be a charity or a scandal. And then I grew up and moved in with you, and I kept thinking I would tell you. But the longer I didn't, the heavier it got. The door beeped, and a man entered with a hoodie and a storm on his shoulders. He glanced at us, away, then at the counter. My stomach recognized him before my eyes did. It was Ethan. He'd lost weight. His cheekbones were to cliffs. He saw me and stopped. My name arrived in a whisper that felt like a hand on my back. Hey, he said. Hey, I answered. Alex sat up, bracing. This is Alex, I said. This is Ethan. Ethan nodded to Alex, not meeting his eyes fully. We ordered nothing because words were expensive enough. Ethan ran his knuckles along the table's edge, a nervous habit from when he was 16 and stole apples from the market and brought them to me like treasure. I didn't want to blow up your life, he said. It's been long. Why now? Alex asked. His voice wasn't ice now. It had the careful tiptoeing of someone who suspects they're standing near a mine. Because secrets rot, Ethan said, and because someone else already tried to manage it. I frowned. What do you mean? The cafe's door swung open and shut in a rhythm. Damp air licked at our ankles. Ethan looked at Alex then, finally, fully. He met me, Ethan said, 2 days ago, outside the subway. He gave me $200 and told me not to contact you again. He looked back at me. He said he was protecting you. A sound left me that made the barista look up. Alex, I said. My throat closed around the name. Tell me he's lying. Alex didn't touch me. He didn't touch anything. It wasn't like that, he said. I didn't want to lose you to a past you never told me about. Ethan let out a breath that flapped like a flag losing wind. You don't get to decide that, he said, calm in the way anger is when it's exhausted. Alex's eyes flashed, then dimmed. I've watched you hide your phone, he said to me, voice low. I've felt the distance. I wanted clarity. I put my hands in my lap because the table suddenly felt like it would bruise me. Clarity doesn't usually come in unmarked bills, I said. The barista's moon tattoo caught the light, a pale orbit over a vein. No, Alex said. Sometimes it comes with knowing you're safe. From my brother? I asked, he said. From your family's gravity, he said. He turned to Ethan. I messed up. I'm sorry. Ethan nodded once like he'd expected nothing. He stood, then sat, then pressed his palms together and leaned forward. "Look," he said, "I get it. You love her. Protectiveness is a drug." He glanced at me. "So is secrecy." The window collected our reflections and rearranged us. 3 people on a cracked sidewalk of memory. A bus roared by and rattled the glass. My heart synced to it. "Why did you text tonight?" Alex asked him. "Why no more hiding?" Ethan's eyes flicked toward me, asking permission. I nodded. "Because she said she wanted to tell you," he said. "And because there's more." The words hovered like a second storm. "More?" Alex repeated. Ethan reached into his jacket and slid out an envelope, its corner soft with handling. He pushed it toward me. I turned it over. It was from our mother's handwriting, the looping, careful script she used only when the message had to land softly. I didn't open it. "I already know," I said. Alex looked from the envelope to me. "What is it?" "Medical," I said. "History you deserve to know. Nothing fatal, but not nothing." Ethan rubbed his jaw. "She wanted you to tell him, not me," he said. He offered half a smile. "I'm done being a ghost, not trying to be a messenger." I slid the envelope back into my bag like a live coal. "Why didn't you tell me last month?" Alex asked. The question didn't accuse, it simply trembled. "Because I was scared you were more like my mother than I wanted to admit," I said. "And tonight you proved you might be." We were quiet long enough for the song to change. A synth line faded, a drum beat shrugged in. Outside, rain began with small decisions on the glass. Ethan tapped the table twice, a little code we used as kids to mean, "I'm here." "I need to say this," Alex said. He wiped his face with his hands like he was washing without water. "I put an app on your phone. For a week. Months ago. I took it off. I hated myself. I was drowning in the feeling that I was losing you, and I thought if I just knew, I could fix it." Ethan's chair scraped as he leaned back. "That's not love," he said. "I know," Alex whispered. "I know." My chest felt like it had a key turned inside it. I remembered the hallway flicker, the kettle scream, and now this small, honest ruin on a table. "I baited you," I said quietly. Both of them looked at me. "I told Ethan to text tonight when you were home," I said. "I wanted to stop hiding, and I wanted to see if you'd pick up my phone again. If you did, I'd know we needed to talk about trust before anything else. If you didn't, I'd tell you anyway. It wasn't a trap. It was a reveal." Alex's mouth opened, closed. "That's cruel," he said, but it didn't have heat. "Maybe," I said. "Maybe I'm my mother's daughter and you're your father's son, and we're both trying to build a future with bricks we never chose." Rain thickened, drumming now, 1,000 small fists on the awning. The cafe door kept beeping, the world kept arriving. Ethan stood. "I'm going to give you 2 space," he said. "But I live 3 blocks away now. No more hiding." He reached for me, and I stood too. We hugged. He smelled like damp wool and coffee and the hollow notes of a rainy winter. "I'm still angry," I whispered into his jacket. "But I'm done being silent." He squeezed my shoulder. He nodded to Alex again, a nod made of boundaries and civility. And then he left, the bell over the door chiming once, a small verdict. I sat back down. Alex stared at the table like answers might grow there. They didn't. "What do we do?" he asked. The question hung between us like a mobile, turning with the air. We start with no more surveillance, I said, and we tell the truth ugly and early. He nodded. I can do that, he said. Can you forgive the subway thing? The money? I don't know, I said. Can you forgive the bait? He almost smiled. It broke before it reached his eyes. I can try, he said. He reached for my hand and stopped midway, hovering like a plane waiting to land. I put my fingers beneath his, lifting, then lowered them back to the table. We left the café without finishing our waters and walked home through rain that turned the streetlights into long, smeared candles. Our building smelled like old paint and boiled vegetables. In the apartment, the kettle had cooled. The mugs wore a thin skin. I pulled the envelope from my bag and set it down. Do you want me to read it here? I asked. Or tomorrow? Here, he said. Please. I broke the seal with a fingernail. The letter was soft from being opened and closed in my mind 100 times. I read aloud my mother's story of migraines and an inherited rhythm issue, the medication that helped, the tests I'd had last year. Nothing fatal, I repeated, but not nothing. Alex let out a breath I didn't know he'd been holding. I wish you'd told me, he said. I wish I'd trusted you to hold it, I said. We were mirror wounds. He stood, went to the pantry, came back with a small white box. I bought this 3 weeks ago, he said. It's not what you think, he added quickly, seeing my face. It's a key tracker for your bag, because you lose your keys, and I thought if you had this, you'd feel safer. I laughed, a small cracked thing. We are so bad at loving simply, I said. We love like locksmiths, he said, picking each other open. I tucked the envelope into a book and looked around the room like it might tell me what to do with my life. The plant by the window sagged. I'd forgotten to water it. I picked up the watering can and tipped it, watching the soil drink. Maybe everything wilts in silence. I'm going to my mother's, I said. Just for tonight. To talk to Ethan. To be where the secret started. He looked like he wanted to ask me not to. He didn't. Okay, he said. Will you come back tomorrow? I don't know, I said, honest the way a bruise is. But I'll text you. A real one. Meant for you. He nodded. At the door I paused. Turning, I said, if you ever feel like spying again, don't. Feel like asking. I can handle questions. He smiled, small and painful, and raised 2 fingers in a salute. The stairwell was a damp throat. My footsteps sounded like ghosts rehearsing. Outside, the rain had softened to a steady hush, the city's mothering voice. I walked to the bus stop and didn't try to stop the shaking. It wasn't fear anymore. It was aftermath. At my mother's house, the porch light was one of those humble yellow things that make you believe in kitchens and tea and forgiveness. Ethan answered before I knocked. Figured it was you, he said. I walk loud, I said. Always have. We sat at the table with the old vinyl chairs that hiccuped when you shifted. My mother's teapot steamed, the smell of mint braided with damp wood. We good? Ethan asked. Not yet, I said. Soon. He nodded like he respected that answer. I meant what I said, he added. No more hiding. I'm tired of being a rumor. I'm tired of protecting everyone, I said, and losing myself in the process. We talked the way rain talks to roofs, persistent, necessary. About the years he was gone and the year he came back. About the name cousin, like a cloak that never fit. About my father's silence and my mother's rules. We dug through past and pulled up bones and held them to the light until they were just bones. By the time I stood to leave, the window wore a pale outline of dawn. On the way out, Ethan touched my sleeve. "You love him?" I thought of Alex's hovering hand, the envelope, the admitted spying, the subway money, the pain that was just love in a tighter shoe. "I do," I said, "but I love me too." He smiled and it reached his eyes. "Good," he said. "Do both, or do neither." We hugged again and I left, the door clicking with a closure that felt like a beginning. The bus back was quiet, the kind of quiet you earn by riding at the hour between regret and resolve. I scrolled my phone and saw the messages stacked like pages. Alex's name, Ethan's, my mother's. A new one blinked. From myself, in the Notes app, written last week. "Tell him, then see who he becomes." Back at the apartment building, I didn't go upstairs. I walked past to the café and peered in. The moon tattoo barista was mopping, tracing clean arcs that caught the track lights. I wrote a message to Alex. "I'm getting a coffee. Want one?" He replied instantly. "Yes, whatever you're having." I typed, "We should set rules. Privacy. Family. No more bailouts without asking me." He wrote, "Yes. No more tracking. No more money behind your back. Questions before decisions." I answered with a thumbs up and a heart, emojis that suddenly felt like the right-sized words. When I carried 2 cups back inside, the building breathed me in. Outside our door, the hallway light flickered twice and steadied, as if it had finally found a rhythm. I unlocked the door and paused. Inside, I could hear him moving, the sound of dishes placed carefully as if quiet could be atonement. He turned when I entered. "Coffee," I said. "Truce?" he asked. "On probation," I said. We sat on the couch, legs not quite touching, cups warming our palms. I told him about my mother and Ethan, and how the word brother feels like a clean shirt after a week of rain. He told me about his father's anger and how vigilance felt like safety until it left no room for trust. We didn't fix anything. We started it. Later, when we were tired enough to be honest without embroidery, he said, "There's something else." He went to the drawer and returned with a small envelope. "Not a ring," he said quickly, the faintest smile. "A letter. To myself. From my therapist. I was supposed to give it to you if I ever crossed a line." He handed it to me. I opened it and read, "If you choose control over connection, admit it and pause. Apologize before explaining." I looked up. He was already apologizing with his eyes. "Thank you, Fatet. Saizefid, for bringing me into the room with you even when you weren't ready to let me in." He nodded. "We were both in rooms alone," he said. "Tonight, we opened a door." When he fell asleep on the couch, curled toward the coffee table like he could protect it from dreams, I sat in the kitchen with my phone and typed one more message. Not to him. To myself, scheduled for a year from now. Did you keep your own door open? Did you let love be messy without turning it into surveillance or secrecy? I hit schedule, and the future tucked itself around the question. The secret text changed us, but not the way I thought it would. It wasn't a confession of infidelity. It was a mirror held to the parts of us that prefer shadows. It turned on every flickering hallway light in our lives and made us choose. And I wonder, if a text could undo you, what truth would you write instead?